And what is up, everyone? We are live on Beyond the Woodline, and I'm Joe, the host of the show. And I have some special guests today, Dead Ends. You guys are all the way over there in the UK, right?
Yep.
Yeah. How are you guys doing today, or tonight for you guys?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've had a long day at work today, so came over just to do this podcast. So
Yeah.
but I'm good.
Yeah, I'm a little bit tired because I've only just come back from a paranormal investigation, so I've had no sleep at the moment. So if I start nodding off, just scream at me.
Hey man, first of all, thanks a lot for doing this. I really appreciate it. I know that it's late for you guys, and again, man, I appreciate it more than you guys know. And
No, you're very welcome.
yeah, yeah. I had another group on from the UK last week, Dark Mirror radio show.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were on last week. Pretty cool guys. They want me to come on their show, so I'm gonna do their show too. And
nice.
this is Dr. William Lester. I always know him when he says greetings from Atlanta. Yeah.
Oh, I see some dead enders are on their way
Yeah,
over
they're
by the
already
look of
coming in.
it.
That's good. That's
Right,
good. That's
guy.
what we need. When you guys have questions, pop them up, and I'll put them up there on the screen for us. But let's get to it, man. I don't know who wants to go first, but what got you into the paranormal? What was it that drew you to this genre, if you will?
Go on, CJ.
Well, for me, I suppose really it all started a fair few years ago. Like many of us over in the UK, it was kicked off with the interest of seeing these paranormal shows that come up. In our case, it was Most Haunted when it first kicked off. That's what got my real interest going. Prior to that, interested mainly in the UFOs and stuff. And I took the journey to go down the paranormal, and I'm glad I did because I'm quite passionate about it. I love it. I run a successful team, and I also do my own little investigations myself as well, and run various other little bits. But it's been an interesting journey, to be quite honest with you, and it's a very, very robust field, isn't it, when you think about it? Because everybody's got different views, so
Right.
it makes a very, very good entertaining if you can get a decent debate going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you have any paranormal encounters, experiences prior?
Yeah, I did, but I mean, I'm an open-minded skeptic, so if I see
Okay.
something, I want to debunk as much as possible and get rid of what I think could have caused it. And it's always what you're left with. You have to really sit down and think to yourself and say, did I really see that? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I know what I've seen, and I believe what I've seen. I've seen an apparition. I've been to some various really good haunted locations, and you get little tiny bits. But I think about 3 or 4 apparitions, which I would say that I've seen. But at the end of the day, as I said, it's down to individuals' beliefs on whether they actually did see something. But I know what I saw, and what I saw a woman, and there's just no taking it away. The dress, the hair, the way she had her hair, the way she looked, I could see it clearly as day, and it was like I use the analogy Willow the Wisp. Kelly, you know what I mean by Willow the Wisp. It's a little cartoon character, just a little bit of puff of smoke that goes round. And that's what
Mm.
it was like. But it formed a partial apparition, and it was amazing to see. And I wasn't alone. There was my mate was with me at the time, and when I turned around to look at him, he was just in tears, crying. He doesn't even know he's a rugby player, and he was just bawling his eyes out. And then we both looked over, saw it walk underneath us or float underneath us, and we were gone. It really, the atmosphere changed. It went really from light to heavy like that, and we just thought, no, this is not good. This isn't good. So we just got out of there.
Like you say, you felt like that, this isn't good. But were you just scared, or you think that whatever it
I
was
think
wasn't
I
good?
think I think it was fright and flight.
Okay.
Basically, I think it took us by surprise. We wasn't expecting it. We wasn't expecting any of that. And I think, well, when I saw what I saw, I just think natural human instincts kicked in. You know, I'm a paranormal investigator, but do I get scared? Of course I do, like everybody else, you know. And I think it just overloaded our senses a little bit. So we did leg it out. We did go back, but when we went back, the whole area was just totally different feel, different atmosphere. In fact, we went outside and we stayed outside. That's how much it unnerved us, to be honest. And it was a place called Tottenham Towers. And that was a college, I think, a private college for people, for students and stuff. And it was up there that we saw it because it was attached to a private home that used to be a big, massive home before they turned it into a private school.
Okay.
But that was the most memorable one for me. Put it that way. I don't know about Kelly. I think she's
Kelly,
had a few.
What was it for you, Kelly? What got you interested in the paranormal, and what got you eventually doing investigations?
Okay, so I kind of had I was bugged from around sort of like 6 and 7, age 6 and 7, by paranormal activity in my family home, and kind of that carried on till I was about 13, and then you kind of, I don't know, life kicks in and you're just doing other stuff, and then it kind of all goes away. And it wasn't until I was probably in my early 20s, and over here we got Most Haunted, and that came on the TV, and so that kind of piqued my curiosity, so I watched that quite a lot, and then I moved over to the Isle of Wight, and I kind of thought, you know what, maybe we can do that kind of thing here. So I just kickstarted a team. There wasn't a team on the Isle of Wight at the time, so we kickstarted a team, had a great time, did the entire Isle of Wight for 8 years. Amazing place. If anybody gets the opportunity to go, I would definitely recommend the Isle of Wight. So anyone in the chat tonight from the UK, yeah, just hit me up, because I literally can tell you all the free places to go. So we did that for quite some time, investigated mental asylums, and things like that on there. And then I moved across to the mainland and just carried on. So I set up another team on the mainland. So, oh God, there seems to be a bit of
feedback
there. So I've literally had some amazing personal experiences. I've seen full-bodied apparitions. I've had things thrown at me. I've had things touch me and singing in my ears, and it's been absolutely amazing, and it's been an experience I'll never forget for the rest of my life. And as long as my legs work, I will continue to be in the paranormal field, because it's just one of those fields where it's completely intriguing. Every day I'm intrigued by the paranormal field, and I just love it. So unless my legs give out, I'll always be in the paranormal field.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to hear that you've got that passion and dedication for that.
Oh God,
yeah, it's the same thing with me and the Bigfoot thing. As long as my legs work, I'll be out in the woods and doing my thing. Trying to learn and sharing my data.
Well, you see, I'd love to do what you do, go out on a Bigfoot, and I'd give my right arm. I'd love to get out there because I love the outdoors. And do you want to swap? Come over here and do my part, and I'll come over and do your part.
Or I'll come over there and you can take me, and you come over here and I'll take you.
Oh, you're on. Done. Deal. Let me just write that down.
Yeah, Texas. Right now, Texas, 2022. So where'd you come up with the name Dead End?
Oh God, CJ, do you want to kickstart that one?
Well, we were just talking, and when Kelly contacted me, we started talking about dead ends. We were like, well, what are we going to call it? And I think the conversation went around, everybody at some point in their life will end up at a dead end. And I think that's what stuck, was the dead end part of it. Well, it's true. Everybody ends up at a dead end at some point. Where do you go from there? So I think with us, the dead ends spoke to us, really. And it just jumped out. We just thought, what a perfect name for a podcast. And to be able to voice opinions, views, but most importantly, to give those who feel that they don't have a voice in the paranormal to have a voice. if that makes sense.
Right,
It's to allow our dead enders to come on and say, hey, we're not happy with this, or we're not happy with that, or what do you think about this going on in the field? Well, if it's in our sort of working out what we broadcast, what we don't, is it having an impact on the field? If it has an impact on the field, then it'll feature on one of our podcasts. If it's serious and we think like we've come across a little bit of fraud, or we come across something that people should be doing, then what we'll do, we'll put out a flashcast, which is in between our podcast, regular podcast. So it's really Dead Ends. Is and has been designed as a, if you want to call it, paranormal media show. Really, at the end of the day, if it's public, it's fair game.
Yeah, and I think the whole concept of Dead Ends initially and still actually is we're really strong believers in having brand and integrity. And if you're going to be the type of investigation team or individual investigator that goes out of their way to absolutely, I don't know if we can swear. Can we swear? Because I do.
You can swear. You can say whatever you want.
So basically, so if you're going to just completely take the piss out of our field, and more so over here in the UK, we don't tend to get involved in anything in America. Then we're going to talk about it, because at the end of the day, if you're going to act like a complete twat, that actually has an impact on every single paranormal investigator and team and events company and venue here in Great Britain. And when you act like a twat, you make everybody else look like a twat. So the whole point of Dead Ends is to literally push it out there when people are just doing things that are just not right, whether it be unsafe, like at the moment it's smoking inside abandoned buildings that are made of wood, just crazy stuff like that, breaking and entering, fake news stories where they take a picture of something and send it into the newspapers to claim it as being paranormal, when it only takes me and CJ 1 minute to work out it's not paranormal at all, it's a bunch of fire extinguishers.
Not even 1 minute, did it really?
No, not really. And we'll talk about it, and we'll just go live about it, and we do get a lot of hate from it, I will say, but goes with the territory, I'm afraid.
Yeah, coming from the Bigfoot world, I see so many pictures of red circles, pixelated, blown up, and they're like, "There's a Bigfoot right here." I'm like, "No, there's not. I hate to be able to tell you, but there's not one there." And then not only that, but then you have the people that say that they see more in this picture. There's a family, there's a baby, it's got something in its hand. Just like, come on, where do you see all this stuff from? Quit. You make everybody look bad.
Yeah.
And that's why people don't take us serious.
Yeah. It's the same over here. It's with the paranormal field. It's never going to be taken serious.
Right.
There's just no way it's ever going to be taken serious, because mainstream science isn't really interested in it, I don't think, enough. So, and when you look at the field in general, there must be thousands and thousands and thousands of paranormal groups everywhere. Just alone in the UK, there's probably hundreds and hundreds of them everywhere. And, it gets to a point where I think the field is going to be overloaded. It's going to implode on itself. And to be quite honest with you, it's heading that way. But you get the silliness out there. And it's really the silliness and the stupidityness that we want to tackle, really, to be quite honest.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially as a podcast, that's what we do.
And we have our special saying on Dead Ends, and our Dead Enders absolutely love it, and that is, "What's boiling your piss today?" Piss. Yeah, they love that. They absolutely love that.
I like that.
And whatever is current. So, take for example the fire extinguishers. We'll then release some merch, and we'll make up T-shirts with like fire extinguishers on them, and they go down an absolute treat. It's hilarious. Just to think there's people out there walking around with Dead Ends fire extinguisher T-shirt on. It's just crazy fun.
Right. Yeah. I had a guy send me No, go ahead. I'll tell you that story in a bit.
I was just going to add, really, if you know what Marmite is over here, It's you either like it or you hate it,
Yeah.
and that's what Dead Ends is. You got people that will like it and some that won't like it, and the ones that don't like it are probably the ones who don't understand what Dead Ends is being set up, because we did it purposely for yes, Lou.
Quite awful. I love
That's
that
got us
saying.
into trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it gives them the opportunity to raise issues that they feel that should be discussed, and people have got the entire right to have an opinion and to actually debate as well. And people get it wrong; they think they're being attacked. Really,
Right.
all we're doing is opening up a debate to have some conversations around it, and if it helps the other guys realize that, well, oh, actually, I might have been doing that a bit wrong. I shouldn't have done
Right.
that. Well, then
Exactly.
that works. We don't want to think that anybody, not one of our dead enders, haven't got a voice, because they can just come up on the page and we'll talk to them, we'll support them, we'll do whatever we can. Although it's only just me and Kelly and our mods, our Shell and a few and Liz, and we got a new mod coming on, Haley as well. So
Kaylee, yeah.
really, Kaylee, yeah, Haley. Why do I call her Haley? It's Kaylee. And yeah, she's good as gold. And our Liz is in now, and our Shell's in.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree there with Liz. Liz is actually one of our mods, and she's ex-police. So she actually, if Liz posts something, it's true.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to come at us with something unfactual, Liz is amazing, because she's straight in there letting them know, no, actually you're wrong. So we've got some really good mods who've got some really good backgrounds, and then we've got, you know, for example, Shell. Shell's just mouthy and gobby, so we love Shell for that. She's not scared to say boo to a goose. Liz, obviously ex-police, and you know, and God, everything else that Liz does. And then obviously our new girl Kaylee, she's amazing. So I'm looking forward to seeing good things from Kaylee as well. But yeah, I mean, just to reiterate what CJ was saying, when we're debating things, it's usually it will usually be because a team or an individual has acted like a complete twat waffle, and our dead enders will know what a twat waffle is. And so what we do is we're quite open. If we're going to talk about you, we will message you to let you know that you are going to feature on the show. We don't hide that. And then what we will do is we will open up the show. So we'll pop the link in. As you know, Joe, being StreamYard, you can invite anybody on. So we'll share the link, or our mods share the link, and then you're free to come on, whether you agree with what we're saying or you disagree with what we're saying. You can absolutely come on and have your say. It's not a problem at all. We're not here as dead ends to shame you or put you in a corner. What we're here to do is hopefully educate you on why what you're doing is totally inconsiderate in the paranormal field. And maybe, and there has been a couple of occasions where we've actually been educated ourselves. And we've gone away and thought, oh, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So
it's a learning curve.
Right. You know, and one thing about being, you know, whether it's UFOs, paranormal, Bigfoot, or anything else for that matter, if you're going to be in this field, you got to have thick skin. You gotta, you know, be prepared to be criticized and be prepared to be wrong sometimes. You know. You know, I'm real careful about what I put out there on Facebook. You know, I probably put 1% of what I find out there, because I know myself that, okay, I've got this picture, or I've got this howl or scream. I'm not going to release it, because if I put it out there and there are people going to tear me up because, hey, you know what, that's a coyote or that's a bobcat. You know, now I look like an idiot. Not only will I look like an idiot, but I'll make everybody else look like an idiot. So I'm just really careful about what I do, and it's not about being wrong. It's just about trying to hold myself accountable, you know. And I think a lot of people have to be like that. I like that comment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Way to go, Amanda. Don't worry about it. You're safe with us.
You know what I was going to say earlier too was I had a guy send me a picture, and he told me that it was a Bigfoot. I'm like, dude, this picture is so blown up and pixelated, I can't see anything. And he's like, well, look, I'll show you another picture. He showed me another picture side by side. He goes, look, you can see that the head moved. I'm like, I'm not saying there's not any movement. I'm just saying you can't tell this is a Bigfoot, a bear, a guy in a ghillie suit, you know? And I said, how far away was this picture? 800 yards away. That's half a mile. Like you're gonna sit here
Jeez.
and blow up this picture from 800 yards away and
Yeah.
tell me it's a Bigfoot. I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
No.
He's like, well, I took it with my, with my phone, my camera phone. I said, that's even worse. You can't turn that in as evidence and say this is a Bigfoot. I'm not saying you didn't see one. I'm saying
Yeah.
your evidence
Then
is,
it's not up to scratch. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't do that from 800 yards away. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you
Mm.
didn't see one. I'm saying what you're showing me. I can't make heads. I couldn't tell what was tree, what was brush, what was shadow, what was light, anything. I mean,
Okay, so
I mean,
that's a great example. So I can give you a classic example of what happened here in the UK. So there was a team, okay, I class them as entertainment rather than serious paranormal team. So they're an entertainment team in my eyes. So they were investigating a hotel and took a really blurry picture in a hallway. And they claimed that they had caught two twin girls, spirits of two twin girls, and they sold that picture to the news outlet, which jumped on it, and then it went straight in, online, and there was this whole write up on there and stuff like that about how they'd caught these two spirits of twin girls. It took me and CJ less than a minute to type in the hotel name, type in hallway. We found the exact hallway, and at the bottom of the hallway there was two fire extinguishers.
fire extinguishers. Yeah.
It wasn't spirit, it was two fire extinguishers, and because the picture was blurry, it just distorted them and made them appear. Yeah, it was, Jenny, absolutely.
Yeah.
It made them appear to be fire extinguishers. So, we're straight on it then. We go straight to the newspapers. This is a great story, but have you considered looking at this evidence? And you're making yourself look stupid. And then we run with it. So we'll flashcast it to let people know, look, guys, this isn't evidence. This is ridiculous. And people that are doing this sort of stuff are just twat waffles. So that is how fire extinguisher and twat waffle merchandise came about, and that's how I got banned from Facebook for 3 days for writing twat waffle. So yeah.
The thing is with the paranormal, I mean, now what we're seeing, and I may be wrong, people may disagree with me, and that's fine. But I think what's going on within the paranormal now is everybody, well, let's just say egos. There's a lot of egos within the field, and everybody wants to be the next big thing in the paranormal. And what upsets me is when you concentrate on that, on your ego, or on wanting to be the next, I don't know, Zach Bagans or Horth from Taps or all of that, is the fact that you're not actually doing the paranormal justice. If you're a paranormal investigator, you're there to investigate the paranormal. We're not just doing it for fun. We are actually, there is a point to it. You want to prove something or disprove. But there's a lot of egos out there now, and there's a lot of people that want to, there's a lot of pressure to that is put on people to perform, especially if they've got these groups where they've got they're out every single night. Sooner or later, you're going to run out of locations, or you're going to start running out of ideas to do things.
Or what typically happens is you say you're in a new location, but you were actually in it last night, but you've just called it something else, and you just stood in a different corner. But I mean, credit where credit's due. There are some amazing investigators out there, and some of them actually have decent TV shows, and credit where credit's due. You can see the difference between the type of investigator they want to be compared to some TV shows where you just think, oh dear, it was good, but it's going down a rocky road right now. But again, that's my opinion coming from a paranormal investigator that's been doing this for 17 years. So I have a completely different outlook on it than Maureen, who's only just started looking into the paranormal and likes watching her TV shows, and everything is real for Maureen. Do you know what I mean? So you have to take it or leave it sometimes. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we go out in the woods quite a bit, and sometimes we just go out there and it just ends up to be a camping trip where you don't get anything, and it's okay with that. I think some people, like you said, feel pressured that I've got to show something, I've got to produce. I've got to produce some evidence, and every
and
little
it's
thing becomes evidence, like you saw the squirrels today. If you heard a squirrel running through the wood, that doesn't make it a Bigfoot.
No, but I like squirrels. They're my favorite. I'm like this squirrel. But I love squirrels. Now I'm really distracted. So it's exactly the same in the paranormal field for us as it is for you that chases the big feet. So pretty much, we can go paranormal investigating and get nothing the whole entire time. So it's exactly the same for us. And no wonder TV shows only do 45 minutes, because that's maybe an 8-hour investigation or not, depends who you are. And you could try to condense what happened in 8 hours down to 45 minutes. Doesn't particularly give you a reality of a paranormal investigation. It's trying to give you what they claim as evidence from their paranormal investigation. So it's a tough one with telly. I mean, you've got to give people their due. Some of them work really damn hard. I know Danny Moss, from Haunted Hunts and Paranormal Captured. I mean, bless him, he works his socks off. He's out constantly and runs a paranormal event team. So
he doesn't stop, does he?
No,
he just doesn't stop. He's on the go constant.
Yeah, and then you guys obviously have your shows in America. So you Ted Moore from Paranormal Envy. I mean, when that guy goes out to do his 10 episodes, he's out all week, and then the following week it's all about putting the videos together and everything like that in order to to get it on the air. So these guys work really hard, and some of us forget just how hard people work, I think, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit. What are some of your favorite places to investigate?
Oh, don't put me on the spot. Don't put me on the spot. Don't you dare put me on the spot.
Jamaica
in Cornwall.
So tell me about that place.
Yeah. Well, Jamaica Inn is the location that I actually do with another team, and I run the team down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's sat in the middle of Bodmin Moor. It's an old coaching inn. It was well known for Daphne du Maurier, her book, The Jamaican Inn. It's got a lot of character, but it's also got one of those things about it that once you're captivated by the building, it just won't let you go. I've been there 6.5 years. It just won't let me go. It's like a second home, to be quite honest with you. But it's a good little haunted location, to be quite honest. And it's had a lot of money spent onto it, but they've kept it as close as they could keep it to its original features as such. So it's really, really good. I'd recommend anybody. In fact, we're trying to break out into the States actually to see if we can get people to come over and visit us, because we do have quite a lot of people that come over. We had back I think about 2-3 years ago, we had Richard Essop, the author. He came over and spent some time there and done some books as he's writing his books. So I believe he's planning to come back over next year at some time with his lovely lady wife. So we look forward to that. But it's a great place. But it's hard as well, because you can't have spirits perform on command, especially if you're doing events so we've got members of the public. So what we try to do down there is not do an event night, but basically take them from a beginner stage and let them experience what we experience if we went out doing an investigation with experiments and stuff like that. And it's caught on because we're completely sold out. In fact, we're sold out until next year, so we must be doing something right down there. So it's all right. It's a lovely place, the Jamaican Inn. Recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, the breakfast.
And if you want a ghost done, come and see me. Oh yeah. I can't eat them no more.
I only go for the breakfast, so I'm going down there on the 30th of November. Breakfast, yes. That's me.
Yeah, we got a Dead Ends one down there.
Yeah.
We arranged the Dead Ones. That's going to be interesting. But we'll be putting that up live on Dead Ends anyway, doing a little so people can see what we get up to.
Yeah, and if we don't get no activity, I'm a complete and utter fucking twat anyway, so I'm more than enough to keep people amused.
You're going in the attic on your own. That's where you're going, in the attic.
That's only because you want gold footage of me shitting my pants.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
so
crying.
for me, I would probably say one of my most favourite locations of all time since being over here on the mainland has got to be Mansfield, the village, and coincidentally back down there again on Friday with Liz. That is where I see full-bodied apparitions all the frickin' time, doors open and closing by themselves. It's just nuts down there, and I absolutely love it. I'd take a bottle up with you, Kelly. What, gin? I like gin. I'm not doing that again, though. I was on Kenny Bibber's show and I fell off the chair. But enough said about
Yes, you did.
Yeah, so I absolutely adore Mansfield, the village. I don't know how long that place is going to be staying open for. So I know that thanks to Liz, there's another investigation there next year. So I've booked onto that already. But yeah. I mean, I love all of that kind of thing. So any venue for me is amazing, whether it's a quiet venue or a full-on a venue where you just get things thrown at you constantly or you're seeing things. I just love it anyway.
But the camaraderie between colleagues as well, when you meet up with people, is brilliant as well, isn't it? Really, let's face it.
Yeah, I think if you add that element of socialization, I think that's pretty mint. Like with COVID coming along, it's really forced myself to go out there and investigate with people I may not have necessarily wanted to investigate with when I have my team, you know. But now I just love team shares. Now I'm meeting all these new people, and they're legends, all of them. So it's been really exciting and really great. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to next year as well.
So there's Kelly pimping herself out for investigations next year.
Call me, I'll come.
So
on investigation.
So have you guys been like legit scared of anything or any particular place?
Other than the one that I mentioned about Tottenham Towers, that time made me a little bit nervous. Other than that, I'm pretty okay. Although there are times, and it's only times, it doesn't happen all the time. I've got a haunted museum down at the Jamaica Inn and a stable block attached to it. Every now and again, if I'm walking in there at the end of the night when I'm clearing up, you can get the real EBGBs put up you. And you just get this ominous feeling and you just want to get out of there. But that's always at the end, of the night, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning sort of thing. So none of us like really walking through that place at that time. But other than Tottenham Towers, no, that was the only place that really, I suppose, really did spook me up.
And the fact that we like to scare him when he's not looking.
Oh, yes. Yeah. They all jump out. They all jump out on me. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say like I've been absolutely that scared that I've run out of a building. I've never done that. I do get to the point because I like doing solos. So I really enjoy being on my own because I just want the experience. And I think it's heightened a lot more as well. So you kind of walk away feeling like you've achieved something.
Right.
Yeah. I do literally poo my pants and then you'll see me on live, like talk myself out of it. Like I'll do something else just to talk myself out of being absolutely shit scared. And I'll stay. I don't leave, but it is gold, let me tell you.
Yeah. I've been scared quite a few times, doing the Bigfoot thing, but I've never ran away in fear, in fear. But I've been scared a couple times. Maybe like in the last month and a half, me and my buddy Walter, who's on here, this guy right here, he's got the inside joke. Oh, yep. I know exactly what you're talking about, Walter. So I'll tell you that he had a very terrifying Bigfoot encounter, and I went out there with him to show me his location. And on the way out, we're driving down this little bitty road. It's so small you can't even turn your car around if you wanted to. And the squirrel runs out in front of his truck, and man, he locks them brakes up. And all I can say is I'm glad I had on my seatbelt because that squirrel scared the shit out of him. It was so funny. So
how big are these squirrels that make you scared?
Oh, it was just regular sized squirrel, but he was out there in that. Yeah, he was out there in that location, he was sweating and pacing around and telling me about his encounter. And so that's the place that I went to when I was just going down the road and I got to that certain location. And I was scared that day, and I even told Walter. I said, "Man, I got a bad feeling. I just got a bad feeling about this place today." And I
It's
hadn't had a feeling like that in about 3 years. So, but we stayed. We cast some tracks, and we got the hell out of there. But
Yeah,
that's
there's a
that's.
lot.
I was gonna say, I think that's part of why we do what we do. It's
Mm,
an adrenaline rush. It's fun, and
mm,
you have to experience all that stuff.
yeah.
I
yeah.
think anyway.
But for you, your hobby when you go out and you're looking for Bigfoot as such, when you're going into these woods, there is an element of serious danger there because
Right.
of the wild animals that you've got over there, which run free. I mean, over here in the UK, I think the most venomous thing we've got is an adder, isn't it? I think,
Yeah.
really, to be quite honest. But I mean, if you go out, so we got no threat of being hurt. But you guys, when you go out into the woods,
We got
I mean, that's
snakes,
something else. You
hogs,
got your snakes,
coyotes,
yeah,
bobcats.
jeepers.
You know,
I've
and
only
yeah,
recently come across a place where I went to investigate in the UK. I think it was Hill House, I think they call it. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But when we went there, I went out for a walk in the woods, and the guy came chasing after me. He said, "You need to be careful." And she said squirrels or something, vicious ones. But it wasn't. They had hogs running around. I didn't hogs running free in the UK, to be quite honest. And now I find that they're all over the place, apparently.
right. Yeah,
Wow.
not too long ago, within the last year, there was a lady got killed by hogs out in this area, as a matter of fact. Um, but yeah, man, we got a lot of hogs out here. We got to watch them. We got to watch out for them when we go out
Yeah,
there because
they go and have culls, don't they, every so often to
right.
keep trying to keep them down because they breed rather fast, don't they? They
Yeah,
have big
yeah,
litters.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. They're just bad. They're mean. They will hurt you. They will kill you if they get a chance
Yeah, and
to.
they'll destroy the land as well,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
from what
They
I
tear it up.
gather.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They tear it up. Yeah, it's funny. You talk about snake. Walter was out there and he was walking and he stops and he's listening and I'm off to the side, maybe 60 feet to the side, and all of a sudden I hear him calling. He's like, come here, come here. And as I'm walking towards him, he goes, whoa! He almost stepped on a snake. There was a snake right in front of him.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's
God.
snakes everywhere out there. There are snakes out there. You got to really be careful. But
There's a lot of cougars in the UK.
they're out here too, buddy. Let me tell you.
Ah, that is
Uh,
class.
Downtown
Yeah.
Houston, about 10 o'clock, they are out there.
Yeah, I
All
can.
the clubs.
Yeah, I do watch a lot of the documentaries that come from the states, especially about the wildlife and whatever. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I can understand why the majority walk around with bleeding guns. Let me tell you that, because I certainly would. With all the animals out there that could tear you apart, to be quite honest.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, even like the bobcats, they're big
Mm.
cats. They're not like a cougar, but they're big cats, and they got big sharp claws, big fangs. And one ran up on three of us one day, and we all had our
Sheesh.
pistols out. And I said, "That son of a bitch comes out, you better shoot him. You better shoot his ass." We all, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not playing with this thing.
I think the most scariest thing over here in the UK when we're out investigating outside are the sheep, because in IR light they have red eyes and they are
Yeah.
fucking evil.
Yeah.
I've run a few
Yeah.
times going, what the fuck is that? 'Cause that's just
You've
the sheep.
got, especially if you've gone to some locations and there's a farm there or something like that, and that you see them through the window. It is quite freaky in there. Woodchester Mansion's brilliant for that, to be quite honest, because it's pitch dark down there.
Oh,
And all you
there's
see is these little eyes,
Wow.
and the bats.
Oh, they do my
Unbelievable.
nut in.
Yeah, I got ran up on a donkey one night. I don't know what the hell he was doing out in the woods, but yeah, he hauled at my ass and scared me pretty good. That was to
Oh
get
my
that.
God.
Yeah.
What? Where an elephant was found in a country park? Gets weirder, doesn't it?
That would be like a Jurassic Park moment. You just stand there and goes,
I love sheep so cute.
Yeah.
So what do you guys have like on your bucket list of places to investigate? What's like two or three of them that you want to really get to and check out?
What,
Oh,
in the UK or just anywhere in the world?
Yeah, just anywhere in the world, somewhere you want to go check out.
There is one place for me, and it is in the States. I always wanted to go to the Winchester Mansion. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to check that place out. I've seen documentaries on it, and the other one, again in the States, is Lizzie Borden's place.
Right. Okay. It's like in Maine or Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, that's another place I would love to go and have a look around there because of what happened, just to see out of curiosity. I've got colleagues in the field that have investigated it, so I've watched them and read up what they've put up on that. But yeah, in fact, to be quite honest, I couldn't name just one or two. I think there's quite a few that I'd love. I'd love to go to Dracula's castle as well and do that in Europe and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I'd quite like to do any mental asylum anywhere because they're just amazing. So anything else, just throw me in a mental asylum and I will be there all night. I will camp and everything. I'm not bothered.
Could you imagine us in an asylum, Callie? Think about this.
I've been to one, mate. They are scary as hell, but they are worth it. Absolutely worth it.
But they're very rare now, aren't they? To find them.
They are. Yeah, here that it's just they just get built and turned into flats, so that nobody stays in for very long because it's haunted. But yeah, anything mental asylum that's totally up my alley. Just throw me in one of those, Newsham Park. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I'm not bothered. I'll investigate anywhere. I'm really not picky, but yeah. I'll definitely do mental asylums for sure.
Do you guys have gifts or abilities or any of that stuff?
Just a gift to sniff out bullshit. I mean, that's pretty much what I've got.
Well, that's good. Yeah. That's probably the best gift to have.
Yeah, I think that's a rare gift to have, to be quite honest, be able to sniff it out, to be quite honest, because there's a fuckload of it out there, let me tell you.
Man, you ain't lying about that. You're not lying about that.
But no, I think you just, after 17 years for me anyway, I think you just rely on your body to tell you when something doesn't feel right when you're out there. And it'll be the same for you, Joe, when you're out there in the woods. You know the sounds and you know the sounds of the animals and you know the sound of the forest and what's natural to sound in the forest and what isn't. And it's exactly the same for us as paranormal investigators. So a decent investigator will always do a pre-walk around, probably spend around an hour doing that. Just to listen to the building, to understand, the noise of the building, go outside, listen what the wildlife is doing before you crack on your investigation. That's always a good idea.
Yep, and that's something I do if I find a new area, I'll go check it out like a couple of days before.
Got to, you've got to really, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most important part. Also do some research and I'm sure you guys probably do research on buildings and what happened there, and that way, you don't come back.
I don't know. I tend not to because I want to go in with an open mind, and also I really hate reading. I can't stand it. It's boring. I'm a doer, not a reader. I'm so sorry. So if anything happens throughout the night, then me and CJ know many historians or people who like history. And if we get anything, then we'll probably ask them to have a look into it for us to see if there's anything in it, especially like if you've got something on an EVP recorder. But yeah, I don't tend to want to know anything because I feel like if I go in, then my mind's already clouded. So no, I don't tend to want to know anything. I just go in blind.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I
mean, I started off wanting to know everything. And going in and I'm like, Margaret, are you here? Oh, that's got to be Margaret. Then you kind of just after doing it for so long, you kind of just educate yourself a bit more, and you can understand it from a skeptic's point of view. Then when they say, but you already knew who was, what the history was prior to going in, and your little brain starts turning then, and you're kind of like, actually, that makes sense. I can't really argue with that sort of skeptic mind. So I've grown a lot throughout the 17 years. I used to believe in orbs and everything. What a twat I am, but I don't anymore. So hallelujah. So it's just about educating yourself, I think, and that's kind of where I am now. So I am a believer, absolutely, in the paranormal. I can't say I'm not. Sometimes with a skeptic when they're talking about EVPs and why they don't work, that breaks my little heart, but I will always love EVPs. So yeah,
I've actually got a pretty good EVP that I had in the house when I was married. We had a lot of activity in that house. It was like the first time we caught an EVP. It was pretty cool. I'll likely send it to you guys. And
nice.
that was actually before I was into the paranormal. I was always into the Bigfoot stuff, and just here in the last year or so, I got into paranormal and UFO kind of stuff. But I told my son, I said, "Hey, go get the recorder because I've seen the stuff on TV, right? So go get the recorder, and we'll do an EVP session." And he runs into the room without me, which I didn't know, and he comes out. He's like white as a ghost. Like, "Hey, Dad, you gotta listen." And he plays it, and he's like, he says, "Is there anybody here with us?" And you hear a voice go, "Yeah," you know.
Oh,
And he
love
was
that.
white as a ghost, man. But I'll send it to you guys and let you check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Nice
you know what?
to hear it.
It's little things like that, isn't it? That your son might actually one day want to do it himself, and it will be all because of that one moment in his life that might depict what he does in the future with paranormal. And that is so interesting to me.
Well, he's
It
had
really
a
is.
lot of experience. He's grown already. Got a kid.
Aw.
He's in the Marines, and he was back in that house not too long ago, and the bedroom door he was in was shaking like somebody was trying to get in. You know.
Wow.
And he got up. He loaded his AR. He's a Marine. He loaded up his AR. And he checked the house. He said, "Man, Dad, there was nobody here but me." You know. But,
See, if we loaded up ARs over here, we'd just be shot on the spot by the police. There's no coming back from that. Literally, we had some guy down the road who just bought his little, like, I don't know what you call it, like a little BB rifle. He came out of his house with that. The police went, "Put it down." He went, "No," and he died. It's just terrible, really.
Yeah.
So we don't have things like that. Well, we do, but it's illegal.
We're in Texas, so we do what we want here.
That's why I like Texas.
I love it here. The greatest. I always tell people it's the greatest country on earth.
Well, I also like it because my favorite wrestler lives there, Stone
Who's
Cold
that?
Steve Austin.
Stone Cold, yeah. He's from Victoria.
Yeah. 360. So yeah, that's another reason why I like Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite's Hulk Hogan. I love Hulk Hogan.
Stone Cold would take him out any day.
No, he wouldn't.
You know they're making a movie about him, right?
What?
Hulk.
Stone Cold?
Yeah, Hulk.
Oh, the Hulk.
Did you know that?
Like that.
You?
Did you know who's playing him?
Would it be somebody like Dolph Lundgren or somebody like that?
No, who's the Thor guy? Thor?
Never. Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Undertaker's a Texan. There you go.
Yeah, Taker is as well, isn't he?
He's here from Houston, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Do you know wrestling has changed though? Off topic, but when I was younger, there used to be storylines. They hated everybody. Oh, it was amazing. Now it's just a little bit boring. There's no storylines. It's not as fun.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of pretty boys.
Yeah.
The Attitude Era was the best era, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there were so many factions and so much talent, and
Oh, it was great.
It was great. It was fun to be wrestling.
Do you know I used to rush home from work in the steelworks, or even pull a sickie on a Friday night to get home to watch Raw because I knew Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to be on that show that night, causing havoc, and I'd pull a sickie from work to get home to watch it. The boys used to go mental with me.
Yeah. You watch his podcast?
Sorry?
Have you ever watched his podcast?
Now my boys do. My two boys.
It's really good. It's really good.
Apparently, he gets right down to nitty and gritty with them, doesn't he? So they say.
Yeah, but he doesn't just do wrestlers. He'll do like different celebrities. Like he's had Ice-T on there one time, and some other guys. It's really good. It's a lot of fun.
I don't even know who that is. That's a drink in it. Ice-T. I ain't got a clue.
He was a rapper, like the '80s, I think. You know?
Okay.
If you
No
heard his
idea.
stuff, if you heard his stuff, you say, "Oh, I know that song." But, you know.
Okay.
Oh, you
I'll go
you
and
would
have a
know
look
it.
later.
You would know instantly, especially one of his songs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not Ice Ice Baby,
Ice
is it?
Baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
love that song. That is a karaoke
See, there
classic
you
when I've
go.
had a few drinks, let me
No,
tell
that's
you.
Vanilla Ice. That was Vanilla
Oh,
Oh no,
Ice.
that's
that was
Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice. Yeah,
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 that
yeah,
was
yeah.
Vanilla Ice.
Sorry,
Yeah.
wrong one.
Ice T.
Okay.
I can't remember the names of his songs, Ice T songs, but if you heard them, you would recognize them, I think. Um,
Cool.
so, hey, what do you guys have? Any kind of advice for people wanting to get into the paranormal? What kind of advice would you tell
Don't.
them?
It's
Don't.
too full. No, seriously. If people are gonna go, if
Go
people
to
are
the
gonna
Bigfoot community.
start and they want the best bit of advice, is grab yourself somebody that that is been in the field for quite a number of years,
Mm,
and literally suck them dry of their knowledge. Suck them dry of their knowledge, because
yeah.
that's what you need. That's what I would say, is listen and don't believe everything that you see on TV. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of reading, a lot of research. Do your homework first, and then, you know, that's probably the best advice that you can have. And don't go worrying about bits of kit straight off. The best bit of kit that you've got is eyes and ears.
And a
Utilize
torch.
them. And a torch, yeah, or your trip and fall.
Yeah, I know. I'd have to agree with that, CJ, 100%. Yeah, and as Liz says, keep it real.
Yeah,
There's
and
enough
listen
of
and learn.
yeah, there's enough twat waffles out there. We don't need any more. So
No.
yeah, I would go absolutely with what CJ has said. And also don't be swayed by other people's opinions on how to do an investigation. Go with the flow, work it out yourself, work out what you like, work out what you don't like. There's too many people out there that push their religious beliefs when on an investigation
Right.
onto people. So I say, you know, just go with what feels right for you. Just because someone says you need to put your feet on the floor and take your shoes and socks off and think of a tree, it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to work for you. So just do what makes you feel comfortable. When I go out on investigation, I don't do any of that. I have my own belief that nothing's going to come home with me and all of that jazz. And it's worked for me for 17 years. I'm partially normal most of the time. So
No, actually, Kelly, to be quite honest, I have put a request into the Vatican, because you really do need sorted out, especially when you sat on stools being interviewed.
That's
and you
when
suddenly
I had the
jumped
drink.
off.
No, I didn't jump off. Apparently, I fell off. But I'd been drinking since 4 o'clock, and the show in America wasn't till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, bad idea. Bad idea. I will be having words with Mr. Biddle over that.
Yeah, I think that's good. Sometimes people got to find their own kind of techniques, and what works for them, right? And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I think with anything else. I guess if you're in the UFO field or the Bigfoot field, I don't go out there. I don't do the tree knocks. I don't do the screams or the hollers or stuff like that.
Mhm.
I kind of go out and I listen. I set my equipment out, my trail cams, my recorders, and I have my own areas that I check. I like to look for springs and creeks, and I like to follow those. And
Yeah.
What's the strangest thing when you've done it and you've put your trail cameras out? What is the strangest? Look, I'm turning into an host here. Look, asking him the question. It should be vice versa. But what is the most strangest thing that you've actually captured on one of these game trails?
mist. I have found like mist or fog not that long ago, and it's always in this one particular area. I don't know if it's just something that's naturally occurring or what it is, but I've caught like mist or fog, or I've had the camera go off and just nothing there. I've caught hogs and squirrels and even people. You know, I've actually got a guy looking right at my camera. He found it and he was looking right at it, and it went off. But yeah, I have found like fog or mist in front of the camera, and which I tell people. I was going to ask you guys that too. I think a lot more paranormal stuff goes out in the woods than people think, and I think that gets mixed in with Bigfoot. Whether it's the stuff getting thrown, the footsteps, the voices, which I've heard, voices or muffling, or I've heard footsteps, and I often wonder, is that a Bigfoot or is that paranormal? you know,
Yeah.
and it's clearly something on 2 feet, you know. So I think there's a lot more paranormal that actually goes on in the woods than what people are willing to give it credit, you know.
Mm. It's just
I've
a really
seen-
hard field, a really hard venue to contain, though, the
Right.
woods. That's the trouble in the
Yeah.
paranormal field. You know, you can't take what you get with any kind of seriousness because there is so much that goes on outside naturally. So yeah, it's a difficult one. It's all right to go out there and investigate it. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
harm in doing that. But as for any kind of evidence, that's for me is a little bit tricky. But it doesn't mean it's not. It just means it's harder because it's not a sanitized area. So yeah, I love it though. I'll go out as long as it's warm. If it's cold, I ain't staying out there. Jesus
Well, take
Christ, no.
Take your bloody coat with you. Then
I
when you
am
go
not
out.
peeing in the woods. For love nor money, that
No.
ain't happening. No,
No.
I am not peeing in the woods. No,
Wow.
no.
You wear some
won't catch
Pampers or
me
something?
peeing in the woods. I'd rather hold it. Yeah.
Well, see, that's where I got the name. Not by peeing in the woods, but the Beyond the Woodline is by me kind of expanding, you know, beyond the
Yeah.
woodline, looking at UFOs and paranormal and, you know, all kinds of other genres. I guess you could say I've had like people from remote viewing, psychic mediums, and stuff like that. You know? That's what I got beyond the woodline.
You should get in touch with Liz Cornell. She'll blow you away with things she knows.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Get in touch.
Do you guys have people with abilities on your team?
Yeah, Liz has got certain abilities, but obviously we'll leave her to talk to you about that.
Yeah, and other things. Like I said, Liz was forensics as well, so she brings all of that into the field with her when she's on an investigation.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, absolutely. So she's very interesting.
Well, we put her on the spot, so she'll have to come on the show now. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Come on, lover. Just tell her, make sure she don't wear a dominatrix outfit when she comes on.
Well, if she can't come on the show, she ain't wearing that.
Oh, I'm gonna get it for that.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
Well, cool, guys. We're coming up on the hour here. Do you guys have anything you want to say? Anything to tell the people? Any kind of contact information
I mean, if anybody wants to come across and see what Dead Ends is all about, do visit us. We're on Facebook, Dead Ends. So it's 2 separate words, dead and then ends. Just come and find us on Facebook. Come and see what we're all about. Watch a couple of our videos. It always helps. If you want to come along for any banter or just come on and have an opinion about something, it doesn't matter what part of the country you're in, just come along, let us know.
Yep, exactly. And don't be frightened to challenge things within the paranormal. I think that's most important. I think healthy debate and conversation, if you can keep it as adults. But unfortunately, there is the kids playground area which is there, and when you get into that realm, sometimes just walk away from it. It's just not even worth it. It's just question everything and don't be frightened to say, I've got a question, put your hand up. It was one of the things that was told me right at the beginning. If you ever do not ask, put your hand up and say, even if it's silly, you know, and you want to, that's the only way you're going to learn. Put your hand up.
Yeah, and credit where credit's due. Before we started with Dead Ends, it was these subjects were taboo. Nobody talked about it. It was a private conversation. Everybody would get annoyed with each other, but nobody really wanted to say anything because they didn't want all of the other group's members coming over and having a go at them. And I think we've kind of opened the door now, haven't we, CJ? And people are just a lot more accepting of having their own opinion now. So yeah, I love watching people grow in the field, and this has massively helped a lot of people in England grow. I think.
Yeah, and I can agree with you more, man. I love seeing people go out and just grow and become big.
Yeah.
And, you know,
you have to encourage it, and you got to encourage people not to be frightened to say, I don't agree with you. Just because you don't agree with somebody doesn't mean you don't like that person. It's just that your view is totally different to what theirs is. And if you can come to a consensus and an agreement on say, well, that's fine. If you don't, well, then that's fine. You just doesn't affect a friendship. Just walk away from it.
Exactly.
Change the subject.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but thanks for having us on tonight.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot.
No. And I'm sorry about the one date that I couldn't make. I was taken ill, unfortunately.
You're great, man. You're great. I appreciate both you guys and everyone in the chat room, man. You guys did a great job. Thank you for participating. I always appreciate that very much.
Yeah,
Well,
luckily
And
the dead enders
thanks.
came over, so
Yeah.
and
And thanks, as Kelly said, thanks for having us. And it's great to reach your guys over there as well. And, you know, if you ever want to come on, we might probably even do a show and have you come on, have a little chat, because I'd like to know a little bit more about the Bigfoot.
yeah, and like I said, I lived in a house for like 5 years with paranormal activity. It was a crazy place to live. But yeah, man, I'll definitely like to come on.
I've got millions of questions for you and theories.
Okay.
And theories as well. You know,
good. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have a good night, and I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my afternoon. It's 3 o'clock here, so
it's 9 o'clock here.
Yeah. But you guys have a good night, man. Thanks a lot so much. I really do appreciate this.
No, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Thanks for having.